powerful. Here we go. Okay, so your brand identity is to show your customers how they perceive you. I feel like when you think about it, like, how do I want people to perceive me? That was a really big decision that I had to make when I decided on Authentic Boss Entrepreneurs. Because I want everyone here to feel like they can be authentic, but I want to be viewed as an authentic person. Okay. So this is how my mission values are playing out. I really believe in authenticity. I fight against inauthenticity. I'm not like, I always joke, like, I don't want to talk about the weather with you. I want to talk about like how you weathered the storm. So your brand identity is how your customers perceive you and ultimately how they feel about you. So it's incredibly important for both brand awareness and growth. So if you have the chance to set the tone on that first date, right, dating, you might not wear a beanie, I don't know. You're gonna put on the lipstick and you're gonna wanna feel amazing. So when your customers step into your space, how do you wanna be perceived? And if you can build up your identity ideology in a way where they're here for it, they see it, they love it, and they wanna be a part of it. It's part of controlling that narrative and helping people understand that you are the expert in that way. So I feel like I could, maybe a different day, this could be a training all in itself. But people's perception are their reality. So if you can present to them something that's attractive that you want to be known for as well as them, then it's a double-edged sword in the right direction. Okay. And what is that message for your people, right? So as you brand awareness, as you're rolling out gamification in your business, what is that message for your people that they want to, as they perceive from you? The elements of identity ideology will create a coherent picture of your mission and values. So we talk a lot about having like a really powerful avatar and knowing who our customer is. But what we've done here is we've taken that beautiful shirt of, creating an avatar and we've turned it inside out. We're actually, parachute. We're reverse engineering it. So not only do we know who we're going after, but we are now positioning ourselves to be known who we go after. So that's pretty brilliant. I keep thinking of this quote, the best defense is offense. So, and I keep thinking of this duality of when you use Facebook ads, you are going after someone. That's why it's so important to know who your avatar is for Facebook ads. But when someone's Googling, they're trying to fill in their perception. So for both cases, if you're someone that doesn't use ads and you do things really organically, can you see how important it would be to have a really strong brand identity? So when people are searching things that are related to your mission and your values, that you come to mind, or when they post in a group of 200,000 people, who is the best person that builds funnels that is honest and authentic and willing to evolve? Really, really powerful, right? So I always joke, there's a scripture, things to act and things to be acted upon. Brand identity and having the bridge ID effect is both things. You are acting out to let the world know what you stand for, but you're acted upon by people looking for it. And that in itself is really transformative. As you focus on being clear about who you are, what you stand for, connecting to your audience in an authentic way, meaningful way, the more your brand awareness will grow. So on top of the things that we're already focusing on, this is a really great way to figure out what is that identity that I want to create in my community. And I will tell you that if you don't create one, not only will people be confused, but it might morph into something of its own, right? Like there's enough people in there, they have some type of association. So really acting and being deliberate is going to serve your business more than being stagnant about these type of brand identity decisions that can be gamified. Okay, so we talked about that, you know, when we have the identity ideology and maybe it's a badge people earn, these badges help the learner feel recognized for their efforts. They act as a target setting, and they work as recognition devices that motivate people to work hard towards the gamification objective. Okay, so sorry, that was yesterday's. So number 3, identity ideology will speed, not sped, sorry folks, speed up your results. What type of results are we talking about? Designed to live out a better version of the self. To me, I feel like I could just shut my laptop and we could just be done. This would be like the thesis of all thesis for gamification. Like, if there is a way to speed up your customers, your environment, your client, your community's results to design to live out a better version of themselves, I think that's what we all want at the end of the day. And to be able to just touch on the surface of that, I feel like it's such a treat for us to be doing that for our customers. It's a disservice if we don't. And soon our competition will. So gamification just sets you one step ahead. Empowers permission to advocate, identify with, and reach out for more transformations. This has been really interesting as I tested this out a while back when I changed the group to Authentic Boss Entrepreneurs, is that I was giving permission. The posts started to change in my group. Now, my group is mostly an education selling group, so it's not a lot of people asking questions about certain things like you would see in other groups. But once I changed the name, ladies and gentlemen, the type of posts that were popping in my group were different. And people were serving more inside of the space where they would post. It wasn't salesy or spamsy, which is pretty cool. So through those changes that you make in identity ideology, you're empowering and giving permission for people to advocate and change their behavior just in itself in that way. They start identifying towards those things that you have presented, and they make the transformations. More importantly, it initiates transformation in the presentation and idea itself. And I get chills when I think about this, when I have studied about the attracted avatar and what that means in our business, because I remember the first time that I met a millionaire under 30. It was 2 years ago. And everything shifted for me when I saw someone I could relate to had made a transformation. So just in the presentation of learning of a 27-year-old that hit $1 million in her business, yes, it was a woman, that idea in itself initiated a transformation. Okay, so for all the people that get mad for other people that are sharing results, there's a reason why we do it, right? And initiating transformations in the presentation and idea of itself is really powerful. And this is the same thing if you build funnels for people to be able to show them the results, like, hey, you can have this too. And as you become this type of person, you know your identity avatar, these are the transformations you will make. This is the same for someone that is coaching, career coaching, maybe in a corporate environment, where you're presenting to them the culture that you want to build inside the company. And as you're sharing these characteristics and attributes, the process starts for those who identify with it. The transformation in the presentation starts. That is pretty cool. So now I wanted to share some of my favorite identity ideology examples. I want to see if we had any comments in here that I may have missed. Let's see. Okay, so there's a couple questions about points. Yes, so residual point spending, that's incredible for gamification. If they pay a certain amount per month and they get points based on how much they spend, it makes more sense than the hours that they actually hire you. So that is very, very, very good. Okay. So I've given you lots of ideas of why we need identity ideology, but I'm going to share some examples of where it has worked. I've shared Authentic Boss Entrepreneurs, but I want to go a little bit more high level with you, just to really carve out what this looks like. Okay. So, looks familiar? I mean, I didn't really want to use anything that was trademarked, but this person is very influential in the world. And he created the Black Mamba as a way to deal with struggles he was going through off the court in 2003 and 2004. So for those of you who don't know, this is the late Kobe Bryant. He ended up building the Black Mamba Foundation. It is a basketball camp. And he used this identity avatar as his alter ego to overcome struggles he was going through on and off the court. So what's interesting about this is this says off the court, and we know he was pretty amazing on the court. So you never know when you're creating an identity ideology if that person needs it outside of what you're doing to help them. And I'll share a story with you. I'm in a religious mastermind, and because it's religious, we call each other sisters. And the host called it a star, like sister instead of sisters. And when you think about stars and what they do, they light up the sky, and they are a navigational piece. It's end game for me. Like when I think about when I'm working on my business and I'm thinking about the things that I learned in that mastermind, like being a directional star and light for people is something that resonates me to the core, right? And affects me. So that's a really, really, really powerful way to use identity ideology. That mastermind I just shared, and then Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant did not have this identity for the court, right? So maybe the identity that you're creating in your business is for the weaknesses that you're trying to overcome versus focusing just on the strengths, right? The second one is a musician, and she created an avatar so she could use it to safely and publicly experiment with performances. This is Beyonce, and her alter ego is Sasha Fierce. A lot of times we hear, of artists doing this and we don't know exactly why, and there are reasons behind that. And I had read a book about creating identity shifts and alter egos. And in the book, this man actually taught a lot of professional athletes who had lots of different alter egos that helped them overcome things, right? I don't think there's any coincidence that our children entertainment includes superheroes, includes, dogs that save the day, or cat boys that go out. So understanding that there's purpose. Why would you create your identity in your business, this avatar in your business, this community that you're building that people can step into? Is it so they can safely experiment and do things out of their comfort zone that actually create transformation? So that's pretty powerful in itself. Peter Parker, right? We know him as Spider-Man. And enough said, right? We know that this one I actually really have been thinking about a lot. I'm a boy mom, so a lot of our family movies are going to be like superhero related. That's really fun for me. I love Wonder Woman, PS. So Superman is interesting because we know him so well as Superman. We often wonder, like, is Clark Kent its own alter ego to Superman? This kind, nice, gentle. I mean, they're both gentle and nice, but it's just really interesting to see when we look at it in that context of how these two can exist together and serve with each other. Okay. So his identity ideology was so good, we view Clark as alter ego sometimes. Being a part of a bigger identity helps us cope and thrive. That is very, very true. In religion, people have different things that they name to feel like they are part of something, right? And so understanding that creating that identity ideology in your business helps people feel oneness. And I don't know if I put this in the slide, but I'll say it right here, is there any better time than now in the world of confusion and chaos to create a bigger community based around an identity that makes them feel safe, challenges them, helps them cope and thrive? It almost seems like our duty as entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are going to save the world, right? So understanding that this is just being part of something bigger and that people will feel honored to be a part of it. So what will you create for your community? What will you create for your community that creates that transformation? What is that thing that they can step into? And I don't want you to feel super overwhelmed by this. It could be in front of your nose and you don't know it. That's why we do our gamification strategy calls. And maybe it's something that just comes out in the points and badges and leaderboard when people reach those certain rungs in your business, that you help create those identity shifts. And I think even small things like entrepreneurs that actually spend money on themselves to grow, that in itself, coaches could be giving out tons of badges for that, and people would wear them with pride because they believe in self-development. So that's a really powerful concept in itself. Okay. So we only had one Q&A, but definitely put in any questions that you have here. The Q&A was, my courses are used in corporate environments, career development related lessons. Is there something to consider when gamification for corporate environments and teams? I love this because I was recently talking to one of my good friends. She owns a marketing agency locally, and she is very driven and very motivated. And when I told her a couple months ago, I was launching a gamification agency, she said, my team needs that. My team needs that. And we talked about what are the identity shifts that you want your employees to take so that you don't have to worry about gossip in the workplace. So you don't have to worry about them mismanaging their time. So you don't have to worry about them missing deadlines with clients. So all these pain points were reverse engineering and saying, let's give people points for doing these things and let's reward them. And then, what is the community and culture that you want to create where people are excited to come to work because it feels like a game, like they're motivated by the things that you're providing. So in terms of corporate, I think that there is a lot of power to be unleashed inside of environments because we want people to grow and we want people to learn. And when we can set it up in a gamified way, then the bosses see results and they can focus on the things that matter because they know that their employees are learning. So with my friend she has about 42 employees, we've talked about, thinking about the identity shifts that we want to create for people to feel motivated to show up and accomplish the things that they need, and to do it in a way where they know working for that company self-develops them. And I think that's a really powerful part of gamification, is being able to motivate people to take action. So super, super good question. Okay, so Thursday, we will talk deeply about, that's tomorrow, our level up system and what it means to increase the lifetime value of a customer. If you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the comments. I'm going to do a recap tomorrow too, so we can review this. And I just want you to think about the importance of creating identity for your people and being able to move them in a direction that your environment attracts the people that you want to attract. It transforms them and they become advocates, and that you have a tribe. Okay, so these 3 secrets are, what can we do to bridge the gap, to increase the awareness, and most importantly, most importantly, speed up results. There is nothing wrong with collapsing time. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, If you could bottle up your knowledge and give it to a small child, you would. And that's what you do as parents. You want everyone to be better off than you were. And that's the same in business. So to be able to also gamifying it adds a structural piece to your business that exists when you're not there, which is an incredible part of automating your business. So thank you guys for joining this live. Super pumped for you to implement gamification in your business to see how it serves you and how you can serve your customers. So love you guys. Peace out.